Really, guys, just quickly, whatever you do when we are actually bidding at an auction, no matter how excited you are, do not overbid. Okay, what do I mean by overbidding? I'm just going to make an example about this car that you see here on the picture. This is a 2022 VW Tyco 1 liter CSI. This car has got 45,667 kilometers on the clock. It's a pretty good car. It actually has got no issues if I were just looking in terms of what the notes are. You look at this car, it has got a trade-in value of 347,500. 347,500. Okay. Now, basically, this car, if you look at it, it's going to start bidding at 160,000 rand. That 160,000 rand exclude EVAT. Now, I want you to assume a scenario that this car is going to end up selling for 250,000 rand. That 250,000 rand will not be the final price. So this is what is going to happen. You will bid for this car and you will get it. And the auctioneer is going to say sold at this amount, 250,000 rand. And then on this amount that was actually the hammer price, they are going to add 15%, sorry, they're going to add 6%. 6%, which is your buyer's commission. All right, this buyer's commission, that's what they're going to add. And then they're going to add in this total that's going to come from these two, they are going to add 2,600 rand. 2,600 rand is it's a documentation fee. This is a documentation fee. Okay, documentation fee. All right, and then they're going to get a total from these three. So a total from these three is going to come to 267,000 rand, 600 rand. All right, so you can see the numbers are going up. From that 250,000 rand, adding these two costs, this car is now 267,600 rand. But they are not done. Then on this figure, they're going to add 15% VAT. 15% VAT. And if you add the 15% VAT on this number, this car eventually cost you 307,740. 740. You can actually see the numbers there, actually on the screen right there. So basically what I'm saying is that you see this car, it's got a trade value of 347,000 rand at 250,000 rand sold. 250,000 rand sold. It actually means this car is actually sold for this amount. For this 307,400. It's very important to understand these numbers, because if you're going to go there with 250,000 rand and think you're going to pay and actually be able to get this car for this amount, or any amount for that matter, it's actually wrong. If you go to an auction, you can finally give you a sheet like this. This sheet has got the numbers basically. Those numbers actually guide you. That, for example, for this car in the beginning, in the last row here, if you've got only 67,000 rand, you must only bid for 53,000 rand, because the other amounts are going to be for the cost. If you've got 100,000 rand, let's say if you've got 100,000 rand, the 100,000 rand is going to be right here. You've got 100,000 rand, you can only bid for 80,000 rand, and so on and so on. So this paper is important, that if you go to an auction and you're not familiar with an auction, just get this paper so that you know what you are doing. Because a lot of people lose their deposits because they don't understand this. Because remember, once you pay the refundable deposit, if you don't take the car that you've won, that money is going to be taken away. So it's critical that you understand what these numbers, how they actually work them. Because if you don't understand, then you stand a good chance of losing your deposit and actually getting banned from bidding at an auction that is actually conducted by that same bank. So just these two, you can see already, if you look at this figure here, and this figure as a percentage, we are already sitting at about 89% of trade on this 307,000 rand. So whoever's going to be bidding for this car, they shouldn't really go for more than, say, 260,000 rand in terms of bidding, in terms of the hammer price, because you can imagine how much it is going to be. It's going to be close to 320,000 rand, because you don't want to bid can get too close to what the trade value of the car is, because usually cars may have other issues that you may need to fix, even if it's tires or smaller things like that. They're still going to cost you money. It's just lucky that for this car, the car is actually clean. It doesn't have any issues. I hope, guys, this actually clarifies how the whole thing works in terms of costing when you're actually bidding at an auction. Happy bidding. This week there are many auctions as normal. In Durban there is OCO, which is tomorrow on Tuesday, the 4th. There is auction operation in Johannesburg also on Tuesday, and there is MFC auction in Kempton Park on Wednesday. There is also a national auction by Park Village. It's a national. There is another auction as well on Thursday online by Utihani as well as Westbank. So these are the auctions that are happening this week. Cheers.